So, I've been digging into the history of the ether, and I found the exact moment where physics broke, and I found out why. It wasn't a discovery, it was a choice. We didn't just lose the intuitive physical universe, we locked ourselves in an abstract mathematical cage. But what if we chose the wrong reality? We're about to decrypt a forgotten chapter in the history of science, a moment where our entire understanding of the universe forked, and one of those paths was almost completely erased. Now, that's a bold statement, right? But it's the core idea we're exploring. It's this incredible suggestion that in the rush to create elegant equations, we might have traded a real intuitive understanding of the cosmos for what equates to beautifully designed cage. So to really get what was lost in this deal, we have to travel back in time. We need to talk about an idea that used to be the bedrock of all physics, the ether. And this wasn't just some fringe theory. No, people thought of it as the literal fabric of reality. Just listen to Nikola Tesla here all the way back in 1891. He's not talking about the ether as some wacky idea. No, to him and the science of his day, its existence was one of the greatest achievements of modern research. It wasn't empty space that's just out there. It was a living, breathing medium buzzing with infinite energy. Okay, so here's the key. The ether was seen as this invisible something that filled every nook and cranny of the universe, connecting everything. It's how light could travel from a star to your eye. It's how a magnet could pull on a piece of iron without touching it. It solved that age-old puzzle of action at a distance. You know, how things can influence each other across what looks like empty space. The ether was the answer. It wasn't empty at all. And get this whole understanding wasn't dreamed up with complex math. It was built by people getting their hands dirty. It started with Ørsted noticing a compass needle twitching. And then Ampere builds on that. And then comes Michael Faraday, a genius who had almost no formal math education, who could literally see the field. He visualized these invisible lines of force in the space around magnets and wires, and that changed everything. But this hands-on, intuitive way of seeing the world, well, it was about to run headfirst into a new and powerful force in science. This is where the conflict really begins. A new generation of physicists showed up, and their weapon of choice was pure mathematics. And they saw the universe very, very differently. So you've got two camps. On one side, there's Faraday. He's literally feeling his way through experiments. He's always looking for what he called the one true physical signification, the actual thing that was happening. But on the other side, you've got the math guys like Maxwell and Heaviside. They believed that the equations themselves held the deepest truths. They took Faraday's physical vision and translated, or maybe better stated, trapped it in a perfect abstract of mathematical system. And then came the final showdown, Einstein's relativity. It was mathematically breathtaking. Its predictive power was incredible. But for Tesla, this was it. The moment abstraction completely defeated reality. I mean, listen to his critique. He's saying relativity is like a beautiful, dazzling coat that distracts everyone from the fact that the person wearing it isn't actually there. A perfect theory on paper that, he argued, completely ignored the physical medium that made it all work, the ether. And this right here, this is the heart of the crisis. The ether wasn't thrown out because of some killer experiment that proved it wrong. No, it was just inconvenient. It didn't fit neatly into the new elegant math of relativity. So instead of changing the math to fit reality, they changed reality to fit the math. The physical medium was just deleted. Physics chose the algorithm. So what happens when you just rip out the underlying fabric of the universe? Well, you get a lot of holes. And the argument we're looking at is that these holes had to be plugged with weirder and weirder theories, creating a kind of theoretical patchwork quilt. You really have to ask yourself this question. If this new mathematical model was so perfect, why did the world suddenly stop making sense? Why did reality at the smallest scales become this bizarre, probabilistic funhouse that defied all logic? From this perspective, the entire incredibly complex world of quantum mechanics wasn't so much discovered as it was invented. It was invented after relativity to try and explain all the weirdness that popped up once you get rid of physical ether. Things like the electron, which Tesla never even bought into as a particle, or that wacky little sun and planets model of the atom. These were seen as fictions, necessary patches to make the math work in a universe that no longer had a physical foundation. Okay, but the story doesn't end in this patchwork universe, because in a twist that nobody saw coming, the idea of a single unifying field is roaring back to life. And it's coming from the most unexpected place you can imagine, the study of consciousness itself. This is Federico Faggin. The guy literally invented the microprocessor that's probably powering the device you're watching this on. And he's putting forward this absolutely mind-bending idea. Our bodies are just biological drones. Your conscious experience, everything you feel and see, it's not happening in your brain. It's happening out there in a non-modal quantum field that's piloting your body. And right here, Faggin flips the entire scientific pyramid completely upside down. He says he realized that mathematics, the very tool that was used to get rid of the ether, is a creation of consciousness itself. And you can't use the creation to explain the creator. Consciousness has to be more fundamental than anything else. So let's break this down. What he's really saying is that consciousness isn't something your brain produces, like a computer running a program. No, he's saying consciousness and free will are fundamental properties of reality itself, woven into a universal field. And matter, the particles that make up you, me, and the stars, that stuff emerges from this conscious field. And boom, we're right back where we started. This cutting-edge 21st century theory about a primary conscious field sounds an awful lot like what Nikola Tesla's vision from 100 years ago was, a vision of a universe animated by a single energetic ether. It's like an echo across time. Tesla said it flat out. First was energy, then matter. He saw the physical world as just a condensed, slowed-down form of a primary eternal energy. This isn't a universe of dead, random particles bumping around. No, it's a living, breathing, energetic system. So when you look back at all this, what you see are two completely different ways of looking at the universe. The two paths that split apart a century ago, leading to two very different destinations. You've got the first path, the path of pure abstraction that gave us relativity and quantum mechanics, a universe that at its core is just equations and probabilities. Then you have the other path, the path of the physical field. It starts with the ether, flows through Tesla's incredible vision, and is now reemerging in these new theories that put consciousness and energy right at the heart of everything. In the end, this isn't just a history lesson. This is about how we choose to see reality right now. Was the ether really deleted because it was wrong? Or was it deleted because it pointed to a universe so deeply interconnected, so vast, and maybe even so alive that our neat little equations just couldn't handle it? If deleting the ether broke our map of reality, then the real question isn't how it got erased. It's whether we're finally ready to bring it back. Because maybe the ether wasn't just a medium for light and magnetism. Maybe it was the first glimpse of a conscious field, a living, energetic substrate that connects everything. And if that's true, then physics didn't just delete a theory. No, it deleted the one thing that made the universe feel alive.